Welcome to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. Today's episode, I'm answering one of the hottest questions ever. Are contract templates worth it? Should you buy one? Should you have it reviewed by an attorney in your state? Where do you get them online? Is it actually something that I should spend my hard-earned business money on? Or should you get a fully customized contract from a lawyer? Well, my answer is in the bulk of this episode, so let's just get to it, why don't we? You're listening to the Legal Paige podcast, where we chat about life and business with a legal twist. I'm Paige, attorney and photographer helping online businesses and creatives tackle their business dreams without breaking out in hives. No more legal mumbo jumbo. This podcast features simple, bite-sized advice that'll have you legally legit in no time. Are you ready? Let's get started. As a reminder, before we get into this episode, I am legally obligated to give my disclaimer. So I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. All legal information I talk about on this episode is intended for the masses and a large variety of different businesses. I am only your attorney when you hire me and we sign an engagement letter for me to work specifically on your legal issues. Please feel free to seek out another attorney in your hometown if you need specific legal advice or contact me for more information. Alrighty, here's the episode, friends. Again, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. As you know from the intro, I'm talking all about contract templates and if they're really worth it for your business. This is a question I'm constantly asked all of the time, like in DMs basically every single day. What are your contract templates like? Are they really worth it? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. I'm not really sure. I'm going to start off with a little story here because I think that's a great way to just really begin one of these episodes. And I'm putting in this hypothetical because of attorney-client privilege. So again, I'm not calling anyone out, but it is a situation that has occurred from a legal perspective and a legal dispute that happened. So take, for example, Susie Q Business Coaching. So Susie reached out to me from my law firm, Griffith Law PLLC. This is my virtual law firm where I work one-on-one with clients. It's a little separate from the Legal Paige. The Legal Paige, of course, sells contract templates, which is why I'm talking about this here today. But Susie was really distraught because there was a huge coaching contract issue that she had with non-payment on a payment plan from one of her clients. I really could tell how disgruntled she was. It was thousands of dollars worth of services that were rendered that weren't paid for. And essentially, if you know anything about business coaching, it can be a pretty penny for this. And so this particular coach was well sought after. They had a ton of notoriety in the industry. They had worked very, very hard to basically build up their business to where it was. And most of her plans were a 6-month coaching plan because once you kind of get to know the business, you start working with them, it takes time to implement different business strategies on the back end and front end, of course. So she had $2,000 per month, let's just say. Again, this is a complete hypothetical here. And there was 6 months worth of payments. The client paid the first month and then stopped paying. But because my little friend Susie was such a good human and just wanted to continually over-deliver to all of her clients, she kind of assumed the best. She had the best of intentions, thinking that her client would pay at some point. Her client had sent her multiple kind of justifications and reasons and excuses behind why they hadn't paid and that they were going to. So Susie, who is the coach here, decided to continue coaching with this client. After about 3 to 4 months, Susie reached out to me and said, I have done all of the work up to 3 to 4 months of it. So that's, about $8,000 worth of payment that she should have from this client, but she had only been paid $2,000 deposit at the beginning for that first month of work. And then the client came back and started blaming everything on the coaching that Susie was doing, when in fact, Susie had done all of the coaching that all of her roles and responsibilities she was required to deliver had been delivered and outlined in the contract. She made sure to check those boxes and do what she was intending to do for this client. So really what happened is the client didn't want to pay. The client didn't put in the work, was trying to blame, of course, someone else for their mistake, and ended up really not having the means to pay, but they had signed the contract. And then what was Susie to do? She was like, well, we signed the contract. What do I do now? The reason I bring this up is because this is why contracts are really worth it. Contracts are amazing at helping you kind of lay out everything in terms of what parties need to do, what are their responsibilities, what are their payment terms, when are payments due, is there going to be inclusion of late fees if payments aren't happening on time. All of those things are outlined in the contract. But the one thing here that I want to touch on is contracts are worth it. It doesn't matter if you have a template. It doesn't matter if you have a fully customized contract from a lawyer. The main thing you need to know is contracts are only as good as they are for you to enforce them. So as you guys know, at the Legal Page, we love our contract templates. And here's why. It's what my entire business is based around. And I can't really speak for other shops, but we here at TLP, i.e. me and my legal team, pour our heart, soul, and expertise into every template that we put out. We also do a variety of things that I think puts our templates above the rest. We seek out industry professionals in those niches to help us develop, critique, edit, and make that contract template exactly what it needs to be for that specific industry. And we get various industry professionals to look it over because they might tweak things and do something a little bit different. So in our contract templates, you'll see options for clauses. If we're like, okay, this is how some people in the industry do it, you would want to insert this clause. If not, delete that and insert this clause. And so we can give you multiple options. For example, our adventure photography contract template is unlike any other on the market. We teamed up with our good friend Maddie May of Adventure Instead and developed an adventure elopement photography contract that can help legally protect all adventure photographers in the eyes and expertise from the expert herself, Maddie. She's been doing this for almost a decade. And then we had other people in the adventure photography world because, of course, Maddie teaches things in a very specific way. We had other people look over this template and give us input and say, okay, I understand that, that might be how she teaches her audience what to do. Because, Maddie has a great elopement photography course online. Shout out to her course. It's a phenomenal. But I understand that some people run their businesses a little bit differently. And so we had about 4 other photographers kind of help us tweak different portions of this contract template. And then one thing that has happened is we have had that contract template out from about March 2020. And then we put it out before COVID kind of hit the world. And right, the world closed down is what I like to call it. It's so sad to say, but it's true. We had that contract template ready to go. People were purchasing it. And then immediately we knew we needed to change things. There was force majeure and protection clause issues that needed to be altered pursuant to COVID-19. And so we did that. And one of the benefits to TLP contract templates in particular is unconditional, no payments required, full lifetime access to any updates to our contracts. So the benefit here to really using a contract template as a small business owner is this. It can be much less expensive than having a firm make one for you or look at one for you. And at TLP, we make it super easy for you to fill in the blanks of our template contract. We walk you through the documents step by step. We have all of my specific memos that I wrote on, hey, here's a little information related to this clause and some if-then situations where you would want to tweak things. I make sure that I'm basically sitting down at a table with you, holding you through the process of implementing this template contract for your business. And I also explain where you put your business information, client information. We have highlighted information bracketed in yellow. So it's seamless. When you download our contract templates, you just go through it literally from top to bottom. And in no time, probably in about 30 minutes or less, you can have a fully customized contract that's specific to your industry, that's been looked over by multiple professionals, that will make or break your business, and you can update it into your CRM software in no time. In terms of contract templates, though, the one thing that everyone needs to be aware of is contract templates are there to basically just save you money. So we, of course, have our contract templates priced at what they're priced at for a multitude of reasons. We, of course, have peer reviews on them. We consistently update our contracts. Of course, my expertise and overhead, I went to law school. We have all kinds of photographers and lawyers on the legal Paige team as well that are in the trenches with all of us, that are constantly updating things pursuant to what's occurring in the status quo of the industry. So these contract templates, though, are based under the generics of U.S. contract law. So contract law is state-based. It's not federal-based. But a multitude of different states have very, very, very similar contract laws. However, because you're getting a contract template that can be used in the United States, no matter where you purchase it from, if you purchase it from thelegalpage.com or you purchase it from another online virtual attorney, and I have tons of friends in the industry that are virtual attorneys, and they have great contract templates as well. However, the one thing that we always have to suggest is getting it reviewed in kind of like the check mark from an attorney in your state. And here's why. Some state contract laws differ. And I'm a Montana-based attorney. I know I'm constantly looking at various contract laws across the U.S. I'm in contact with a lot of contract attorneys that very much specialize in small business law. So I do have a wealth of information and expertise in the industry to be able to create more, generic contract templates that will be very, very much upheld in the majority of states. But the one thing that I always say is when you get a contract template online, say it's a $500 contract template, that's going to save you exponentially when you have an attorney in your state look it over because of multiple reasons I have seen happen. Oftentimes, contract attorneys in your state have no idea what type of business you're running. They just kind of know the general specifics of drafting a contract. They understand your state laws, and they're going to make one to the best of their ability. But they have no idea what it's like to run a business in the online world. They have no idea what clients are doing to you online. They have no idea kind of what is happening and what's the status quo and what are clients saying to one another? What are industry professionals saying to one another? That is the TLP difference there, is we are essentially giving you a contract template that is pretty much 99% done. And then all you have to do is get the checkbox from your attorney. They may tweak like one or two sentences in your contract if there is, say, a state law or state case precedent that pertains to a specific clause in the contract, and they just need to update it according to your updated state contract laws. But the thing is it's going to take them way less time to look at a fully comprehensive, easy to understand, easy to read contract template than it is for them to build it from the ground up. Attorneys cost anywhere from $200 about to $700, $800 per hour. So if they were to build a contract template from the ground up, it would take an attorney anywhere from, I'd say, 4 to 8 hours. So you're already out a couple $1,000s, but to review a fully comprehensive contract is probably going to take them less than a half an hour. So you're looking at, just purchasing your contract template and a little bit extra money, maybe even just a couple $100s at maximum for your attorney in your state to give you the check mark, tweak it just ever so slightly because it's already really, really well drafted. So that is the TLP difference there in a contract template you're going to be getting. Another good benefit, though, of contract templates is their tax deductions that any business owner can deduct from their taxable income every year. Because it is a professional expense, just like you would be able to deduct if you hired a one-on-one attorney, so is a contract template. So that's a great benefit to contract templates rather than trying to piece it together yourself online. I definitely don't suggest doing that. You guys know why, because you're not an attorney and you have no idea how to accurately piece a contract together. You're going to have issues with cross-references. You're going to have issues with conflicting language throughout your contract. So just make sure that you get a contract template if you want to go that route from a reputable online virtual attorney. And all in all, contract templates are better than having no protection at all, in my opinion. I think that if you try to do handshake deals and you try to just have kind of emailing or texting or oral contracts back and forth over the phone with your clients, that's going to put you in a far worse position than it would be to have a fully comprehensive contract template that was drafted by an actual attorney who understands small business law. And maybe one or two of the clauses is invalid under your state laws, but we have catch-all language in our contracts. It's called a severability clause. And severability clauses it's in the miscellaneous provisions, generic provisions. Sometimes they're called boilerplate language near the bottom of contracts. They're in every single one of our TLP contracts. And a severability clause really just tells the two people or more who are signing the contract that they understand and agree to if one of the clauses or a section of a clause is deemed invalid, that the remainder of the contract stays intact and valid. So it would really just essentially cross out that specific section of the contract if, say, your state law kind of was tweaked or differed from what a contract template actually said, but it would the four corners of the entire contract would not be ripped up. So severability clauses really are a catch-all. If you don't have the ability to have an attorney look a contract template over, I definitely don't suggest that. But just in case, of course, I'm trying to do my due diligence as an attorney here at TLP and make sure that you have all of those things within your contract to protect you. Drum roll, my friends. Are you ready to build a legally legit business? Well, you can become a TLP insider today and get exclusive access to all of the top-notch resources that the Legal Paige has to offer. As a TLP insider, you'll get insider access to all of our sales and promotions, aka better deals than anyone else, first dibs on freebies and classes that will help you legitimize your business and step into your role as a CEO. You'll also get jam-packed bi-weekly newsletters so you're always up to date, and our full and unique perspective regarding the most pressing legal issues facing small business owners today. To get in on the inside, my friends, it's completely free. All you have to do is go to thelegalpage.com/TLP Insider. Again, that's thelegalpage, PAIGE.com/TLP Insider. All one word. And now that you're full blown on the inside, let's just hop back to the episode. Why don't we? Now back to the Susie Q issue, because I thought that'd be a great way to really put all of this. Okay, contract templates are here. What are they for? Why are they important? And then what happens if you have to enforce your contract template? So like I said, contract templates are fully worth it, but they're only as good as your ability to enforce them. And in Susie Q's position, she really didn't have the ability or the wherewithal to understand how to enforce her contract. So there's two things I want to go over here on enforcing your contract templates. First is the difference with breaches. So there's a minor breach and a material breach. A minor breach is something that doesn't involve kind of the most important aspects of the agreement, such as the price of goods and services that you're actually delivering, deliverables, so on and so forth. But if it's just a minor breach, something along the lines of a miscommunication, or maybe there was an error with like uploading those deliverables to your client, that's a minor breach. It's not a material breach. A material breach of a contract is when the non-breaching party is then generally excused for performance on the agreement because essentially the contract is terminated. A serious form of breaking a contract would deem the entire contract void. A material breach is things like non-payment. You didn't render the services you said you were going to perform under the contract. You see what I'm getting at here. If they are not canceling or rescheduling under the contractual terms the correct way, those are material breaches. And then in material breaches, usually a contract will state something along the lines of liquidated damages or non-refundable retainer amounts being liquidated damages. And those mean that they're available to compensate the non-breaching party for a material breach for a specified amount. Usually it's that non-refundable retainer amount, regardless of the actual amount of damages that were incurred by the non-breaching party. Okay, so in the Susie Q example, we had a material breach, right? Susie had rendered all of her coaching services to the best of her ability. She had done so in accordance with the contract. She had done so for a majority of the contractual period, and the breaching party did not pay her according to what they were obligated to do under the contract. So now we're to enforcement. To enforce your business contract, the first thing you have to do with a contract template, if you have one, whether that's a legal page one or another one from an online virtual attorney, you use the contract template in step number 2. The first thing you do is contact the other party to see if the breaching party intends to perform or fulfill their part of the agreement. If you don't hear anything back, like step 1 is just be nice, play nice, try to figure out what's going on. I always say email for documentation purposes in some type of written form that you can use as evidential proof that you did contact them. Give them about 3 days. Don't draw this out. Give them 3 days to perform, and or contact you. And if they don't, then you just need to move on to the second part of enforcing your contract. You can also try to contact them in multiple means. Sometimes I say like a text or a DM on a social media platform. Snapshot that, of course, an email, and then probably a phone call as well, and snapshot when you called them. If the party that was breaching does not call you back, it's probably, or contact you back, it's a red flag that they are intentionally breaching the contract. So if this is the case, then you need to provide some type of notice that you may institute legal action for breach of contract. This is where you want to kind of I want you to be fully empowered to send kind of an aggressive email. And I know that may sound a little weird, like we're not trying to be aggressive business owners, but this is the time and place where I want you to have the balls to do it. And I can't believe I just said that in a podcast, but that is what I would tell you if I was your attorney. You kind of have to woman up and figure out, okay, what are some choice words that I could use in an email that it's scary to the person receiving this email and very, very intentional that I plan on taking legal action. Don't just threaten something that you're not going to do. So that's really important when you send this email. Don't just threaten things to like hope things go your way. I want you to be very, very serious about taking legal action. Usually that's just instituting something in small claims court. You can always do that on your behalf, and that is step number 3. So number 2 is send some type of email or notice, written notice. When lawyers step in to do this for you, they're probably sending some type of demand letter that, of course, has their like lawyer language in it. It's very, very scary. It's from, I'm just saying, I've sent these before. You try to make them very scary. And you want the party to feel like they have to write you back or else. It's, of course, has all of the legal headers on it. And so you want to send something a little more formal like that. You could send one with your company header on it. I don't suggest kind of doing this in an email format. You could do it in a PDF document that's a little more professional, that has that choice language in it, that's really trying to scare your clients to send you, or perform what they're supposed to perform under the contract. But if they don't get back to you, then that's when you head to step 3. So the ultimate enforcement here is taking legal action. So you want to check the terms of your contract to see if arbitration or mediation is required. For TLP contracts, we oftentimes do this because it's way less expensive than bleeding money in a lawsuit in front of a judge or a jury. So if you do require arbitration or mediation in your contract, then you just want to contact an arbitrator, and they will send emails and contact the opposing party on your behalf and say, we're trying to arbitrate this. The arbitrator will say there is a misunderstanding under the contract and a legal dispute before filing legal action pursuant to your contract. They're going to use all this contractual language that you have in your arbitration or mediation clause. And then hopefully the arbiter can resolve this for you. when you go to arbitration, the best thing is the cost of arbitration is split between the two parties. So it's a great way to like go to court without having to pay for everything. So if arbitration and mediation isn't required, you could immediately try to enter settlement negotiations with your clients. You can do so even before arbitration and mediation. But if you really want to take legal action, you can either go to an arbitrator or mediator, or you can contact an attorney and they can start trying to implement settlement negotiations with the other party to see if the problem can be settled through, negotiating back and forth versus actually filing suit. And then the be-all end-all here of enforcement is going to be filing a lawsuit in court. Usually it's small claims court, but it may just be in state court. I doubt it's going to be in federal court here unless the demanded amount is above $75,000 and it's parties in two different states. And most of the time, contractual issues are going to be resolved in state court. And for all intensive purposes, for small business owners, enforcement's going to be in small claims court. Oftentimes, it's like less than $5,000, $10,000 that's at dispute. And so you just want to check with your local county laws on what you can file in small claims court and the maximum amount of damages that is allowed in small claims court. And small claims court is great because you can represent yourself pro se. And so you can come in, you can be armed and empowered with your contract template that you have or the contract that you had drafted by an attorney or reviewed by an attorney if you do have a template. And then you're going to provide evidential proof of everything that you've sent your client, all of the work you've done, everything they haven't done, and you're just going to present that to a judge. They're very reasonable. They're going to understand your argument. If the client or the breaching party does not show up, usually it's a default judgment in your favor. If they do show up, maybe they have some reasoning behind it, but then you'll be able to argue your side. And that's why small claims court is something I really want to teach people to be like, you have a contract template. Yes, it protects you, but it only protects you if you actually are legitimately willing to enforce your contract. I see so many business owners out here just having contract templates and being like, that's it. That's what I do. And I'm like, okay, but when you have to use that contract template, do you know what to do if there is a material breach and you do have to enforce it? So there are some steps that hopefully you can walk away from this episode being like, all right, this is what Paige told me to do. This is a really great solution to my problem of being like, I've just got a contract template. That's all I really need in life. It's not. You have to be able to enforce that contract template. But again, back to the question of this episode, are they really worth it? My resounding answer is yes. And I have worked extremely hard as the lead attorney and owner of the legal page to ensure that all of our contract templates are extremely valuable, that you're getting the biggest bang for your buck. I am an econ major after all in undergrad, and I'm all about ensuring that our contract templates are priced fairly, but also priced adequately. Be very, very leery of contract templates out there on the internet that are like $27 or $97. I do not understand for the life of me how an attorney can actually charge that. You want really think about, okay, if something's like $50, is it really going to be that good? Probably not. And the majority of virtual attorneys that I know that are in our industry, that are online, they're serving online business owners, and they're really deep in the trenches of small business across the United States. We're all pricing our contracts very similarly online. So just be aware of that. If you're seeing a contract template, basically anywhere from about $250 to $500, $600, that's a really good price for a fully comprehensive multi-page document that's literally going to walk you step by step through how to use it. So there's multiple things included in the reasoning behind why contracts templates online are priced the way they are, but there's just a little bit of insight from yours truly on why we price ours. Of course, we also offer free updates. We also offer a free legal page community on Facebook where people are constantly asking us things, and we're taking in all of this information related to contract templates and modifying and amending as needed. And then also, if you have questions, you can always reach out to our support team. So, the price involved in purchasing a contract template will really tell you how much support am I actually going to get with this contract template. And we have a team that's constantly answering customer service emails. So that is something to consider as well. Just really look know who you're purchasing from and know if you want to support that business. Make sure that, check your referrals, make sure that the testimonials are legit from who you're purchasing from online. Of course, I fully back our TLP contracts. I can tell you that right now. But again, the entire reason I created the legal page was because I saw this hole in the industry. There wasn't a really, really good place, not just for photographers and wedding industry professionals, but for a multitude of online business owners now. Everybody's getting into online business ownership and people who run and advertise via only social media and Facebook and Google and the internet. I specialize in that kind of law because when I was an entrepreneur, I still am an entrepreneur, but when I was getting into photography, I knew that people needed an easy button to press for legal help. And I wanted to be that person on the other end of the easy button. The legal page has tons of valuable free resources. Of course, our contract templates are the only purchasable item primarily on our website. And so they keep our team pushing out free content to all of you as well. You'll get additional updates about how to use contract templates or certain portions within contract templates in our podcasts, in our blogs, in our YouTube videos. And the best part is if you're listening to this episode in May 2021, we have our mid-year sale coming up. So make sure that you get on the inside, you sign up to be a TLP insider at thelegalpage.com/TLP insider. And when you get all signed up, guess what? You're going to have the inside access to all of our insane discounts for our contract templates this month. We launch a sale twice a year. That's it. You'll never see our contracts go on sale other than our mid-year sale and our Black Friday sale. So I'm so excited to have this launch online very, very, very soon. So just make sure you're following me on social media and you're following the legal page. You're an insider. You're getting the inside scoop because I cannot wait for you to get very valuable contract templates in your hand for a fraction of the regular price. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You guys know where to find me, and I'll see you in next week's episode. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Legal Page Podcast. See, I told you being legally legit isn't so scary. Be sure to visit thelegalpage.com for all show notes. And it would be super awesome if you could head over to iTunes and leave a review. Last but not least, don't forget to join my free Facebook group for unlimited legal and biz Q&A. Chat soon, Legal Pagers.